Suffering for Jesus' sake. Some people were talking about the beautiful stone used to build the temple and about the gifts that had been placed in it. Jesus said, "Do you see these stones? The time is coming when not one of them will be left in place. They will all be knocked down." Some people asked, "Teacher, when will this happen? How can we know when these things are about to take place?" Jesus replied, "Don't be fooled by those who will come and claim to be me. They will say, 'I am Christ,' and 'Now is the time,' but don't follow them. When you hear about wars and riots, don't be afraid. These things will have to happen first, but this isn't the end. Nations will go to war against one another, and kingdoms will attack each other. There will be earthquakes, and in many places people will starve to death and suffer terrible diseases. All sorts of frightening things will be seen in the sky. Before all this happens, you will be arrested and punished. You will be tried in your synagogues and put in jail. Because of me, you will be placed on trial before kings and governors. But this will be your chance to tell about your faith. Don't worry about what you will say to defend yourselves. I will give you the wisdom to know what to say. None of your enemies will be able to oppose you or to say that you are wrong. You will be betrayed by your own parents, brothers, family, and friends. Some of you will even be killed. Because of me, you will be hated by everyone. But don't worry. You will be saved by being faithful to me.
So, there are some things that we can guess or predict. There are some things that we don't know about as much. It's kind of just up in the air. Now, people have been wondering about the future and wondering about things that are going to happen for all of history, really. Ever since we got on Earth, we wondered what's coming next, what's going to happen. And people nowadays often make predictions, sometimes ones that they base on science and facts, like predicting the weather, sometimes ones that they really don't know a lot about, but they still make predictions, like people say the world is going to end at a certain given date. Well, they might not really know. In fact, we know they don't know, but they still make those guesses and those predictions. And even in Jesus' time, people were saying those kinds of things. People were saying the world is going to end, this is going to happen, this big event's going to come. And in the Bible, Jesus talks multiple times, many times, about how we don't know when the end is going to be. There's a lot of things that we don't necessarily know in life, in fact. And Jesus said, a lot of stuff is going to happen before the end of the world gets here. And we don't know. People are going to come up and say, oh, this is happening, this is happening. But really, we don't know what's coming in the end. And Jesus said hard stuff's going to happen first, but we still don't know when it's going to end. However, there's a special promise that goes with this. So people in Jesus' time were asking him lots and lots of questions, and they wanted to know what was coming, and they wanted to know when the end was coming. And Jesus would tell them, only God knows when the end is going to be, and exactly what's going to happen, and exactly what it's going to look like. But Jesus did promise a few things. He said, hard times will probably come. Yes, that's just a part of life. We know that it's going to be hard. But he also said that he would be with us. So Jesus promised that even though hard things would happen, and even though we don't know all of the future, we do know that God is with us, and that Jesus goes before us and goes with us. And so we know that we'll make it, that we maybe don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We might not know what's going to happen in a few years. We might not know what's going to happen in the next hour, but we know that we can have faith that God is with us. And that's a very comforting thing, because sometimes it can be scary not knowing what's coming up. And it can be hard to try and guess what's happening in the future when There's a lot that we're not sure about, but we are sure that God is with us. And that's a special and a wonderful and a hopeful thing that we can have in our hearts. And because we know that, we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to know what's coming down in the next few days or the next few months or the next few years. We don't have to know, because we know that we can live one day at a time. We can live one moment at a time. And we can always rest assured that God will go with us in each of those moments.